did you know what you wanted for a career? Some are sure from the start, others take a long time to figure it out, and some, of course, make changes along the way.
207's Don Kerrigan is here with the story of a man who always knew what he wanted to do, but one other job that lasted less than 2 years is still having a major impact on his life. Don?
Absolutely is. This is a man named Mark Holmquist, whom some people may know. He grew up in Caribou, always wanted to be a Maine State Trooper. But before that happened, he volunteered for a job that he still gives talks about 30 years later.
That was an error, for sure.
Mark Holmquist has made serving the public his life's work.
So this is a memorial to the 12 fallen troopers in state police history.
24 years as a Maine State Trooper, part on the road, part as a homicide detective. Now he's chief of police in Scarborough. But when he was just getting started, Mark Holmquist wore an Army uniform, one that only a very select few can ever put on. At just 19 years old, as a young soldier, he became one of the elite handful of guards, called sentinels, at Arlington National Cemetery and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
And when I saw the sentinel walking across the black mat that's in front of the unknowns, I just watched how graceful that soldier walked across the mat, and just how professional that soldier appeared to be. And at that moment, I decided I wanted to be a tomb guard.
Holmquist says it was just 2 or 3 days into basic training when he was chosen to be part of the Army division called the Old Guard, the unit that handles ceremonial duties in Washington and provides 21-gun salutes at Arlington. They also guard the Tomb of the Unknowns. And becoming a tomb guard, he told us, required a whole new level of training.
That started, in most cases, it takes 6 to 9 months to reach the end of that training process.
It covers everything from how to march, how to hold the rifle, how to press the uniform so it and the soldier look and perform almost perfectly.
The standard at the tomb, line 6 of our Sentinels Creed says, "My standard will remain perfection." And, we all know that you cannot attain perfection. It's an unreasonable ask, but for the unknowns, we try it each and every day to give it our best to get as close to whatever perfection looks like.
Guard of Honor, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
And he says that covers everything, including plenty of bookwork.
There were upwards to 10 poems that we had to memorize and be able to recite on key. We had to know well over 100 locations of folks that were buried within Arlington National Cemetery who were deemed prominent. You had to not only know a little bit about them, but also know where they were buried. So that required, on my off days, walking around trying to find different locations. That wouldn't happen during the duty day. That would happen on our off time.
The uniform, the brass, the shoes, all precisely pressed and polished. The rifle maneuvers performed, practiced over and over again. That's a lot of detail.
A lot of detail, yeah, a lot of detail. So attention to detail is everything there, but it's for good reason. It's for the unknown soldiers that gave so much.
The first time that you actually go out with, excuse the phrase, an audience, to change the guard, what did that feel like?
Nerve-wracking, for sure, yeah. Certainly made a lot of mistakes that my trainers were really quick to tell me about, but it's a learning experience, and you're just so thrilled to be able to have the opportunity to earn a walk.
And about that walk, it takes total concentration.
Everything is based off of the number 21, so 21 steps on the mat. When you walk and march in one direction, you'll stop, you'll face the tomb, you'll wait 21 seconds. Once that time is completed, you'll face back down the mat. You'll do a shoulder change of the weapon. Once that's completed, you wait another 21 seconds and then walk down the mat another 21 steps.
In summer, they change the guard every half hour. In the off-season, once per hour. Sun or storm, hot or cold, during daylight hours, they march.
Arlington National Cemetery.
And for anyone who has ever visited the tomb, the details are amazing. Chief Holmquist gives talks about it, like this one at the Boothbay Legion Hall, helping others to understand what it takes to be a tomb sentinel and why they do it.
And you did that hundreds of times?
Yeah, 474, I think, to be exact.
You kept track?
Yes, yeah.
Most of the sentinels also keep track, we were told. Hundreds of walks, each one a test, but also an honor.
That's pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but you're also trusted to be out in front of the unknowns, which is a huge responsibility. Even if you have hundreds of walks under your belt, it's still a huge responsibility that none of us take lightly.
Mark Holmquist served just 14 months as a tomb sentinel, but through all the years of police work, as a drill instructor later in the Army Reserve, and now as a chief of police, that duty has stayed with him. His time watching over what the chief calls one of the most sacred shrines in America.
And there are so many fascinating details about what the tomb guards, the sentinels, do. They guard that tomb of the unknown soldier 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But they only do the ceremonial part, the changing of the guard ceremony, essentially during daylight hours when Arlington is open. It's pretty remarkable.
It's a fascinating sight. Thank you, Don.
All righty.